His experience, he's so smart. He have everything in a fighter, a complete fighter. He don't have power in the punches, but sometimes when you that kind of fighter, you don't need it.
He knows distance well, and I don't think the other guys can reach him or capitalize off of it.
Now, everybody's saying decision. Could a stoppage be on the table? Because you said frustrated.
Yeah, for sure. A stoppage is always in the works. These guys fighting with 8 ounces on no headgear. Anything can happen in boxing. Just be himself. Be him. Don't listen to the crowd. Don't listen to these fans. Don't listen to these haters, these and daughters. Just be him. Do what he do best, and that's one.
Also, he's more of a fighter. He's a ring generalship. He's in there thinking. He's calm. He's having fun because Teo's been proving it before. And I gotta emphasize this. If someone can pull it off, it's definitely Teofimo Lopez. If Teofimo Lopez doesn't do it, I don't see who is going to.
Many boxing professionals argue that Teofimo Lopez could potentially overwhelm Shakur Stevenson, believing Lopez's high ring IQ, sharp movement, and aggressive pressure could overpower Stevenson's more technical, defense-first fighting approach in the ring.
He can fight inside, he can fight outside. He would have the advantage of power in this fight. One thing that I love about this fight, Bud? Shakur's very athletic, very talented. So is Teofimo. He's more explosive with power, but Teofimo is very athletic. He is very talented. You got two athletic guys, two talented guys. Again, Teofimo I would favor with the power.
Fighters and experts highlight Teofimo's natural size and physical strength as key advantages, particularly when measured against a highly skilled but comparatively lighter opponent like Shakur Stevenson.
A very special athlete. And as a competitor, he is one of those guys who saves his A game for a fellow elite opponent. That's when he really rises his game and shows us the Teofimo Lopez that everybody thought he was when he was a prospect. People used to look at him and say, oh, this guy is going to be the star in boxing. It didn't really play out that way, but every now and then he reminds us how special he is.
Yes. Teofimo is a two-division Ring Magazine champion. In both fights where he won the Ring Magazine championship, he was the underdog. 4-1 underdog against Lomachenko. People forget, Lomachenko was taking elite fighters in the lower divisions and they were quitting.
Yes.
He was beating them into some, they were like, I can't do this, right? And Teofimo beat him. Right, he outboxed him.
Yeah, he didn't do it by physically imposing himself on him.
He outboxed him, he outfought him, he had speed, power, and then again, against Josh Taylor at junior welterweight, he was the underdog, so he saves his...
Lopez himself stated that his plan is to make the fight ugly, forcing constant exchanges and using his size and strength at 140 pounds to disrupt Stevenson's rhythm, apply pressure, and land heavy shots, with the goal of securing a stoppage rather than letting the fight drift into a slow, tactical decision.
Fighter.
Yeah.
Can't take anything away from it. However, scared to get hit. Scared to get knocked out in front of the world. Scared to get touched up in front of the world.
Are you saying that off of the last fight or just
in general?
In general.
In general.
Yeah.
In general. Me and Shakur sparred before. We did 3 rounds, and it was just light work. And me trying to figure out his jab. Does he have a good jab? Yeah, he does. But once you pass it.
According to Shane Mosley, Stevenson could be taking a serious risk by stepping into a fight with such an explosive opponent at 140 pounds. The concern isn't about Shakur's skill or boxing ability, but whether his body will respond effectively after moving up in weight and handling the added physical demands at that level.
Because I don't think that, Shakur might show some different, if he has to go after Teofimo, he might show some different type of heart that we haven't seen or different type of fighting we haven't seen. And vice versa, whereas Teofimo's hitting him with different shots off the angle, that is kind of giving, Shakur Stevenson trouble. We'll see about that. So we just don't know.
Yeah, the thing is, is I think people overlook of Teofimo is he can box when he wants to. Like, he's shown he has a slick style too when he wants to do that.
When he wants to do that. So if you have a slick style and you got power and you got the speed too, and you're fighting at 140, so let's see, I don't know if Shakur Stevenson is going to get slower moving up in weight or not, where Teofimo can hit him. Maybe he was really fast at 130, 26-30, maybe 35, but 40, you put on a little bit more weight. I think that he holds the weight probably really, really good, but you just don't know.
Fighters who have made similar jumps have warned that Stevenson could appear noticeably slower at 140 pounds, potentially losing the sharp footwork, precise timing, and lightning quick reactions that define his dominance, while Lopez, by contrast, thrives on speed, power, pressure, and physical strength at that weight, giving him a physical and stylistic edge if Stevenson can't fully adjust.
Let me put this scenario. What if it's the Teofimo that beat Lomachenko? What if that Teofimo shows up?
Like I said, and Lomachenko is a not easy fight. Teofimo was able to be in the ring with different type of fighters and figure it out. The fighters that Shakur Stevenson was in with, they couldn't figure it out, or get close to figuring it out. Whereas Teofimo had to figure out that type of style, and Lomachenko is a hard fight to fight. So that's why this fight is so interesting. And for Shakur Stevenson to move up to 140 to fight him is definitely a hats off to him.
Do you have a favorite on paper in that fight at all, Shane?
I believe it's 50-50. It's a fight that I just have to sit down and watch and just want to see, like I said, who imposed their will.
Experts like Andre Ward believe the fight could be decided by the smallest margins, with execution on fight night, timing, conditioning, and composure playing decisive roles, because stylistically there is very little separating the two at the elite level.
Teo knows it's going to be a real fight. Shakur knows it's going to be a real fight. And I look at Shakur like a fighter who has a blank canvas. He's got the IQ, he got the experience, and the athleticism, and the skill set where he can paint any type of picture he wants to on a blank canvas. When I look at Teofimo Lopez, he's almost that. He has a blank canvas, but he needs an outline on what to draw and what to paint inside the line. Now, every now and again, he'll go away from the outline that he has and he'll do something dope, and you'll be like, oh, that was cool. That wasn't on the outline right there. But I don't think that he can create on the fly like a Shakur Stevenson. But what he does bring to the table, and what Shakur does have to deal with, is explosive power, quick twitch, muscles, and the type of punches that he likes to throw. And Teo doesn't have the foot game that Shakur has, but he's got a decent foot game.
Max Kellerman points out that Shakur enters the fight with far more at stake because of his pristine technical reputation and undefeated image, meaning any slip would be heavily scrutinized. Teofimo, on the other hand, has much more to gain as the underdog, where expectations are lower and opportunities are greater, allowing him to fight with freedom and aggression, which ultimately makes the matchup far more dangerous, volatile, and unpredictable.
To protect that perfect record, to protect that kind of sense that he's the next guy. On the other hand, Teo is like he can fight with more abandon against Shakur because there's so much for him to gain. And if he loses, he's...
Paulie Molinaggi notes that Shakur Stevenson's elite defensive abilities set him apart as a rare talent who is extremely difficult to defeat at the highest level. However, he also believes that if Teofimo Lopez delivers his absolute best performance, stays sharp, and execute his game plan perfectly, he has the tools and mindset needed to upset Stevenson and come away with a victory on fight night.
Is at his most dangerous when he's counted out. And this is going to be one of those fights where he's going to be counted out, because Shakur is looked at by and large as the guy who can dominate boxing in this generation, right? It's just a matter of him getting the opportunity. I myself have felt that he's the guy who could and should be dominating boxing if he gets the right matchups. But bro, this is one of the rare matchups, if not maybe the only matchup, where I feel like it's a big threat here to Shakur. And then they would all come undone, because of this reason. Teofimo Lopez, we've seen him at his best, but he typically brings out his best characteristics when he's back against the wall and he's counted out. And he's going to be counted out in this fight. By and large, people are going to side with Shakur in this fight to win the fight because he's the more consistent fighter, he's the more class fighter overall, and he's just so damn good. There's just something about Teofimo, man. He brings out a different level and somehow supersedes that guy who is that damn good. I've seen it. We've seen it already. I'm not saying anything that anybody else hasn't already seen. Okay, I'm just stipulating it. I'm gonna tell you right now, I don't know who wins this fight because again, your better head says Shakur, but then you think about Teofimo again.
He's got the X factor.
He's got the
talent to.
I'm telling you right now.
Yeah.
Shakur is extremely talented and could be the face of boxing as far as being that good and being that dominant, even though no matter how good you are. But this is one of the rare fights where you can get beat. And I don't ever want to hear any of you tank nut huggers that he fights one Uber driver after another. If Shakur Stevenson loses this fight, I don't ever want to hear any of you saying, what about Shakur now? We'll tank this.
While Teofimo's explosiveness and raw power give him a legitimate chance to win the fight, he must be fully prepared to deal with Shakur Stevenson's elite defensive skills and constant movement. Those abilities are central to Stevenson's game plan, allowing him to control distance, dictate the pace, frustrate Lopez over time, and consistently avoid the dangerous power shots that could change the fight in an instant.
That being said, then what does Teo got to do to win?
He has to get Shakur up. How would I say this? I don't want to just make it seem like come across as if Shakur is novice, but the times that Shakur is putting himself against the ropes, this is the time that Teofimo is going to have to depend on his explosiveness. He's going to have to depend on his offset lead right hands. He's going to have, but even doing that, everything with Teo comes off his front foot, his explosiveness, his speed, everything. So it's almost like whenever the times he gets Shakur up against the rope, he got to pick his shots well, but then after that, he have to be ready to defend because with Shakur, the return is always coming. So he got to go into the offensive lane, but he have to go into it with good defense, which in my opinion, he really don't do that good when he's going into offense. He usually come in to an offense lane like with his lead hand down, coming with head movement. But I just believe when he do get closer to Shakur, he's going to have to overload with work. He's going to have to really double up with one hand. He's going to have to use his feet.
Devin Haney asserts that for Teofimo Lopez to defeat Shakur Stevenson, he must stay consistently active and assertive throughout the fight. While Lopez's natural explosiveness and power are dangerous, his recent bouts show inconsistent and measured output, which allows a highly technical and mobile fighter like Stevenson to control the pace and rhythm. Stevenson thrives on movement, counterpunching, and managing distance. So Lopez needs to maintain a higher punch volume, press forward aggressively, and force exchanges instead of waiting for perfect openings. Sustained activity will disrupt Stevenson's spacing and prevent him from settling into the defensive rhythm that typically frustrates pressure fighters.
That's a great fight for boxing. I'm excited to see that. Styles make fights. I think Shakur is just a more superior boxer. I think that Teo is athletic and he has skills, but I see Shakur winning.
Do you think Teo, to win a fight like that, would have to be a little bit more active? He seems like he likes to throw one punch at a time.
Yeah, I mean, I think that he could be athletic, but I think he would just have to be, it will have to be a method to his match.
Teofimo Lopez makes it clear that he will not let Shakur Stevenson take the belt he has fought so hard to earn. He highlights the sacrifices behind his success, explaining that the title represents years of struggle, pain, and unwavering dedication. For Lopez, this fight is about protecting everything he has built through hard work and perseverance. He has strong self-belief and is determined to defend his place in the ring. This moment is deeply personal, fueled by pride and effort. And Lopez insists that no one can take away what he earned through blood, discipline, and commitment.
Of being in the ring,
Yes.
Shakur Stevenson.
For sure.
Obviously, you guys are both in Las Vegas. I'm hearing that you did link up today. A face-off happened between the two of you?
Yeah, face-off happened, things of that nature, just to create the things that are in motion already. So we're really adamant about fighting each other next, and I can't wait for us to really lace it up. And I see him across the ring, and really when that bell rings, lights out for him.
What's it like seeing him now kind of face-to-face? When you look at him, what do you see? Because obviously you're not locked in just yet, and the closer it gets to a fight, obviously things turn a little bit. But when you do look at Shakur, what do you think of him?
I think I don't think too much of it. You know, I think that he believes in himself. That's one thing. But I'm here to destroy his dreams and all that he wants to do and become. You can't take this from me. I worked very hard for it. I've bled for this, you know, and I'm not taking nothing from him, but I just believe that what's gonna happen next is for destiny in the boxing ring to decide. Let the people really see what it was and has always been: the best fighting the best, and the winner becomes the man or the woman.
Yeah. Look, fighting Shakur Stevenson, he is an exceptional fighter. He comes under a lot of criticism, though, for his style of fighting. Some people describe him as a boring fighter. How do you think the fight between you two will play out, and what do you think needs to happen to negate people saying that about that fight?
No, that's a thoughtful question. You know, honestly, it's a real nice assessment to see how everyone looks at a certain fighter, right? And I think that holds on to Shakur Stevenson when people say he's boring or he's not as entertaining. And I think that with a fighter like himself, you know, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. He's undefeated for a reason, you know. Maybe some people don't like it, but this is why the takeover is here, you know, to make it at least fun and make it great and do what I can.
Bruce Carrington, a respected boxing analyst and former fighter, highlights a key vulnerability in Teofimo Lopez's approach against Shakur Stevenson: difficulty handling dynamic movement and disciplined spacing. While Lopez possesses tremendous athleticism, explosiveness, and heavy hitting power, Carrington notes that he has historically struggled to adjust when opponents constantly change angles and avoid predictable positioning. Stevenson's composure, tactical awareness, and ability to control distance could exploit this weakness, forcing Lopez to overcommit, miss opportunities, or become frustrated if he can't pin Stevenson down. Carrington suggests that if Stevenson dictates the rhythm and maintains disciplined movement, he could neutralize Lopez's power and make Lopez fight on Stevenson's terms rather than imposing his own aggressive style.
Teo is going to bring the fight. He's very athletic. You know, he has a lot of explosiveness, and but I do feel like when it comes to Shakur, bro, his movement may frustrate him. The only thing that worries me when it comes to Teofimo is his frustration. Like, is he going to be able to work well with a mover? You know, we've seen, you know, difficulties that he had with Sandor Martin. We've seen the difficulties that he had with Jimmy Ortiz, guys that's been moving around and not staying still. Like, if you keep Teo moving around and he can't plant his feet, what can he do? We're going to have to find that out on, you know, January 31st. And I think Shakur, he's probably one of the best guys to, you know, move his feet, be on defense, being hella patient and frustrating a fighter, bro. Like, so we got to see what his mentality is going to be like come January 31st.
Do you think that his experience on the biggest of stages, you know, his two biggest wins, he was an underdog, and both guys, ironically enough, were southpaws like Shakur. That play any factor to you, man?
Nah, styles is different. The styles are totally different. Lomachenko don't fight like Shakur. Josh Taylor don't fight like Shakur. Like I don't see, just because southpaw, that same thing will happen. I feel like certain techniques could be used to fight Shakur, yeah. But in terms of like that approach of the fight, nah. Like, Shakur fights totally different. You gotta be able to do some out of pocket stuff with Shakur. You gotta throw while he's throwing. That's probably some of the only times that he's able to get hit. You know,
Greg Hackett offers a sharp yet balanced prediction for the Shakur Stevenson versus Teofimo Lopez fight. He leans toward Shakur winning by decision, citing his discipline, ring IQ, and ability to control the pace of a fight. At the same time, Hackett emphasizes boxing's unpredictability, noting that Teofimo cannot be underestimated. He highlights scenarios where Teofimo's explosiveness, timing, or sheer hustle could change everything in an instant. Still, Shakur's consistency and preparation stand out as the deciding factors. Hackett believes Shakur fully understands the threat Teofimo poses and will train harder than ever, as this is a defining matchup for both fighters. With two elite competitors meeting at their peak, Hackett sees this as a collision where greatness forces greatness and anything can happen.
I think Shakur. Yeah, my first mind tells me Shakur, and I thought about it. Yeah, I'm picking Shakur by decision, but because this is fighting, anything can happen. You can't count Teo out. So there is thoughts sometimes that cross my brain, like, damn, what if Teo catch him like real good though? You know what I mean? And hurt him. Or what if he just out hustling? You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's a lot of shit across my mind, but I still like Shakur for the dub. I like Shakur for the dub because he knows how to win. Like, he knows how to win. You know what I'm saying? And he's always prepared to win. So, and I think Shakur respects Teo to the point where he gonna train like he's never trained before. Because this is a great fight for him. This is probably the best fight of his career. When you put Magic and Bird together, shit happens. You know what I'm saying? And that's the kind of situation it is. Magic Johnson was nice, but Larry Bird was nice. You put them together, you get a nice game. You know what I mean? So you put these two together, you get a nice fight.
Is this one of the fights that we're going to remember historically? Like, is this a, you know,
to go back and
it's
study.
19, it's 19, when did Leonard and Hearns first fight? Is this one of them?
That shit was like 87 or some shit. Yeah.
It's 19.
Like 87 or something.
No, it had to be earlier than that, right?
84 maybe.
One? Yeah, like
I don't know, because he was in the 76 Olympics. Well, no, 70.
Wasn't it 78?
No, they ain't fighting 78.
Teofimo Lopez brings explosive power, size, and relentless forward pressure, and he has shown he can seriously hurt opponents who remain in range and trade shots. However, many analysts note that he struggles against fighters who consistently disrupt rhythm with movement and angle changes. Shakur Stevenson's strength lies in controlling distance, dynamic footwork, and precise timing, tools he uses to frustrate pressure fighters and avoid clean shots. If Stevenson keeps Lopez moving, shifts levels and angles, and forces him to reset his offense repeatedly, Lopez may miss more than he lands and grow frustrated. Stevenson's discipline, spacing, and tactical mastery could neutralize Lopez's power and make it difficult for Lopez to impose his aggressive style effectively.
Spencer, but he's going to have to be at his very, very best as we look at these images of the two men. This is the fight that ignites the American market this year. It's obviously got the backing of Turkey Al Sheikh, Ring Magazine. The key for me is, can Shakur be big enough to withstand what Teo is going to bring physically as well as psychologically and technically in this fight?
Absolutely, and that's the fascination surrounding this fight. You look at this one and you say, Shakur Stevenson, if he can step up another weight division and become 4-weight world champion, this is his chance now to become that superstar, that all-time great. You know, not just a generational great, but an all-time great. And I've really believed that. Like I've always said, Shakur Stevenson for me will emerge as this great fighter, and I think this is his fight right now. I think that he wins this fight as well.
Teofimo Lopez believes Shakur Stevenson agreed to fight him to prove a point, arguing that Stevenson was inspired by Terence Crawford's historic upset over Canelo Alvarez and now wants to make his own statement by defeating Lopez. Lopez claims Stevenson had few viable challengers at 140 pounds and sees this fight as Stevenson's opportunity to prove he belongs at the top after witnessing someone close to him achieve a major boxing milestone. Lopez also insists he will expose weaknesses in Stevenson's defense, suggesting that Stevenson's motivation stems as much from proving himself as from simply pursuing a title.
I believe in me before anybody else believed in me. Shakur is stepping up because he got nobody else to go after. He's stepping up to try to prove a point. You know, his big bro, a.k.a. Terence Bud Crawford, you know, put a huge upset and made a historical moment in time. I think those things like that make Shakur want to step up the plate, step up to the challenge, and face Teofimo. Who is I? I mean, we were stablemates, me and Shakur, top rank. He talks about this and that and about I was jealous of him. No, I'm not. You were a 2016 USA silver medalist. You're going to get your signing bonus and all that extra stuff. Thing was, they were trying to secure him in a different route because they had put a lot of money in him. Me, I think I was just supposed to be an opponent eventually. I'm possessively obsessed with this.
Robert Garcia, the elite trainer of fighters like Virgil Ortiz Jr., has publicly shared his take on the Stevenson versus Lopez matchup and revealed his pick. While acknowledging that Shakur Stevenson is technically the superior boxer, Garcia chooses Teofimo Lopez to win. Not because Lopez is overall better, but because Garcia values Lopez's mentality, heart, and warrior-like spirit. He emphasizes that Lopez's confidence, toughness, and willingness to throw power shots under pressure could be decisive, especially if he remains focused and delivers his best performance. According to Garcia, the fight ultimately comes down to who executes their game plan and stays composed on fight night.
Great performances, great wins. Shakur is also a 3-division champion, going for his 4th. Unbelievable talent. It's a fight where we're going to see talent from both, but we also have to see heart. That who has that heart to become the man. I think that fight's going to be more about who's smarter, who plays the better cards, and who doesn't make mistakes. Because it's going to be one of those fights where we might not have too much action, but we're all going to be standing up because we want to see who's going to land and who's going to be the one that finds those punches to land. It's a very interesting fight, and they're both in their prime.
When Teofimo Lopez and Shakur Stevenson finally step into the ring, it's going to be an explosive clash of styles. Lopez, known for his power and aggressive pressure, will look to dominate early and force Stevenson into mistakes, while Stevenson, the slick, technically brilliant boxer, will rely on speed, defense, and sharp counterpunching to outmaneuver Lopez. Expect intense exchanges, dramatic shifts in momentum, and high-stakes tactics as both fighters push to impose their game plan. Ultimately, the fight could go either way, but it promises edge-of-your-seat action for fans, showcasing heart, skill, and the hunger of two young champions at the peak of their careers.